Big news at Jobin.cloud this week. We're introducing in open beta a brand new AI search, Autopilot, and it's fully free to use during this beta access. In essence, what this does is not only does it provide you with a search that you can run through an aggregated repository of billions of profiles, meaning you already have a larger pool of contacts to filter through, but since it's an AI autopilot, it automatically enhances that search that you've given it with semantic keywords so that you have more and broader results, and of course while maintaining relevancy, and has some neat filter characteristics that allow it to even further enhance the search while of course maintaining relevancy, and I'll show that then in a minute. But in short, what this allows you to do is not only save time because you don't have to write filters over and over yourself by repeating keywords for semantic similarities. Similarly, you don't have to waste time running the same searches over and over, but with different variations of keywords because it has those smart functionality that I'll show in a moment. But the main key advantage is since it's all running in autopilot, this means I don't actually need to have industry experience to be able to run a relevant high-level sourcing search, meaning that everyone is essentially a seasoned sourcer, and you can easily expand your business in new niches or industries that you maybe didn't have experience in before, or you can easily delegate to new team members that might just be joining the team and need, I guess, normally lots of training to match all the requirements. But with this, it's all on autopilot, so you can easily scale even junior team members or even a VA, and they'll be able to straight away help you scale your business. But without me listing all these things, let me show it here in practice. So I've gone ahead and found myself a job description over on LinkedIn, and essentially all I need to do is paste it in and run the search. Now AI will automatically be processing that requirement and will fully automatically expand that search for me with semantically similar keywords. In addition to that, you can of course also modify the search with additional keywords you can add. In this case here, we can already see the IT role that's filtering for. And IT roles are generally great as examples, especially for the job description, because they have a ton of requirements, specific skills, specific language models, and so on. And this is where that neat smart filter comes into play. Because besides the expanded keyword search for, in this case, variants to software engineer and software developer, backend developer, and so on, as well as full stack developer, it's looking for all the other key requirements. But of course, there might be multiple ways for expressing proficiency in certain criteria. Say, for example, that I'm looking for someone that knows how to work with DevOps CI/CD. And there's multiple ways to, of course, express that. So the search here is saying DevOps and CI/CD is a mandatory requirement, and to prove it, it needs to either have DevOps, CI/CD, or continuous integration or continuous deployment, which are in fact the various variant or different keywords that someone might use to refer to this type of requirement. And similarly goes with essentially any other requirement like software development lifecycle. That can be either the abbreviation for SDLC or integration testing or testing, which are, I guess, keywords that you would normally not know about unless you had specific industry experience, and the AI helps you compensate for that. And of course, it comes also with the nice to haves that I understood from the job description, and of course we can always then further modify it according to our own preference. So we could say that maybe some requirements don't need to be added as mandatory, because keep in mind, all of these are set as mandatory. So we can set that maybe some of these aren't as mandatory, so we can simply set these in a custom fashion over to nice to have accordingly to our preferences. And with that done, we can apply the changes and a brand new live search runs for us. Now in this search, this is mostly just the initial scan. It shows us the contacts that match the search, and it also highlights the various requirements that we were interested in. So in this case, NetCore, object-oriented programming, Bootstrap, lots of other keywords, as well as easy access to their career history, education information, and so on. What I wanted to reference in particular was the second phase to the search, which is a built-in AI screening. This will make use of the AI to analyze for more complex criteria like culture fits, soft skills, or other requirements that you normally cannot achieve or filter for in a standard filter, and instead require the AI to actually look through the profile and understand what's going on. This runs a very extensive overview. In this case, I added a very extensive job description with lots of requirements as well. And each of these are now going to be assessed by the AI, and of course I'll then be provided with a report and rundown on exactly why that assessment is made. So let me run that deep search. So as we speak, this AI is going to begin assessing and scoring each contact, and this runs live in the background. But we can read each of these requirements here in the headline over from this left panel. So .NET, OOP, streamlining patterns, coding skills, all those various requirements. And each of them are being ranked for, are they present, are they inferred, or are they proven or missing within the profile. Essentially, each of these requirements have 4 different types of assessment. The check mark means that the requirement has been proven, meaning that not only was it written in the profile, but it's actually demonstrated as the actual practical role or experience they had. Whereas the plus icon means that they mention it in the role, but it's not necessarily proven that they actually had hands-on experience with it. Whereas the question mark means that it was not in the profile, but the AI can infer that it's likely there thanks to common sense. Whereas the red X means that it could not be found within the profile and is therefore potentially missing unless you have a call with them to have them clarify. Using all these requirements, it mixes and matches all the must-have, nice-to-haves, and various criteria that we're looking for, and then provides us with both an overview for each specific criteria and how it's matching, as well as an overall broad assessment with the report on why they're a good fit. So essentially, without having to raise a finger, each of these results are being ranked in real time accordingly to each of those criteria, and I can make my assessments very easily without having to lift a finger. Let me also show you a more simple variant. Rather than an entire job description, I'm running a really bland search. I'm not really adding any necessary context. And to use this example, I'm going to use a healthcare type role, like radiologist in the UK. Healthcare related roles very oftentimes require specific certifications and clearances that unless you're experienced in the medical field, you're going to have a hard time fact checking. So in this case, even if my search is incredibly simple and it's only mentioning a radiologist in the UK, I can use that AI search, as mentioned earlier, to run the screening. But even if I only wrote radiologist in the UK, look what the AI managed to automatically infer for me. It understood that I need a medical degree and certification for radiology in the UK. I need to have, besides, like I said, radiologist experiences, specific registrations with, like I said, the GMC and other particular medical fields or protocols that are specific, that are unique to the United Kingdom. So even with no real either location expertise or industry expertise, I can very easily expand my niche even in new sectors, even if I don't have any actual practical experience. So like this, even from this very simple search that I initially ran, I can have a very clear global overview of how suitable a contact can be even for roles that I don't have any particular expertise in. Something I forgot to show last time is when I select the profile, I can find a dedicated AI screening tab that gives me a more in-depth overview of all these assessments, both the overall score, key strengths, key concerns to keep an eye out for, how many nice-to-haves or must-haves that have been met, and the overall detailed catalog of each of the requirements with an explanation for all of the criteria that have been either met, inferred, or not met by the candidate. And this report can then also come very much in handy when discussing suitability with your hiring manager or clients, as it gives a very in-depth overview of all of the requirements. And I also forgot to mention, but all these AI requirements that are being scanned through on the results can also be customized, and runs all on Autopilot in the background. And just as a quick tip on what to do next, once you find the contacts that are suitable that you want to reach out to, simply select them from here, and directly on the action bar, you can launch a fully automated outreach sequence using Jobin's sequencing technology. Don't forget, this is all in open beta, so you can try out for free, and let us know if you have any feedback by joining the Discord server. Looking forward to seeing you there.